What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to give you guys what you've been asking me for, which is a review of my new 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. So we've had this only about 72 hours, but I want to just give you guys my first impressions, take you through a little bit of the quirks. I know there isn't much online right now as far as reviews go, so I wanted to get you guys something. If you're on the fence and you're thinking about making a purchase, hopefully this video can help you guys. So looking at the outside of the vehicle, there's not too much that's different from a regular Rubicon. Of course, you've got blue coloring instead of the red. There's also some different graphics on the hood, right? And of course, you've got the blue inserts. So overall, it looks pretty awesome. On mine, I did go and get some BF Goodrich KO2s in a 315/70/17, which is technically like a 34 and a half inch or so. So they do fit on here without issues. A lot of people have asked about it. So no problems. The spare tire even fits. Now again, this is the stock wheels, just with the tires mounted. So not much difference here. All the difference lies under the hood and on the inside. Let's take a look. Now the first thing right off the bat on the inside that pisses me off is Jeep, instead of putting in the red Rubicon dash insert, it looks like they all have this gray dash insert. I'm not too happy about it. Ever since 2018, I've been wanting a Rubicon and I've been lusting after that red insert. And so I'm a little bit disappointed. When I looked at the configurator building this thing online, it actually looked like it would be the black leather with the blue stitching, but I think that must only be if you get leather, which I'm not a big fan of leather, so we didn't get that. So that kind of sucks, but you know, if I really wanted to, I could always swap that out or see if someone wanted to do a trade. But just kind of a little letdown. Not sure why they didn't do it. It would have matched. Of course, there's still the red anodized down here. You've got the red on this button as well. So I don't know, interesting. Otherwise, pretty much the same. Of course, the biggest thing is going to be the back seat where the batteries are. So I can tell you for sure, compared to my 2018 Sport that we turned in for this sits up a bit higher, and there's definitely less room between the front seat and the back seat. So my kids kind of have trouble, you know, even getting, this is my gym bag, but their backpack's even thicker than this. They kind of have room now to get those in and out. Also, what really is disappointing, this used to be 2 cup holders, and Jeep got rid of those, and now they just have this kind of, whatever this is going to hold, change, I don't know, pretty useless. So that sucks. There are cup holders here that fold down, so all is not lost. I just don't like this position, because when the kids have their, you know, 500-ounce big gulps, it's all just going to spill right on the fabric. So that's not very ideal. The back seats here, of course, do fold down, just like in Jeep's past. So it's kind of a 60-40 split. Whoops, excuse all that, sorry. So here's actually the battery, and then the top folds down. So it's pretty well flat. There's a little bit of a ridge. Let me open this up. So you wouldn't have that ridge normally. This would be more flat, almost completely flat actually. So of course that's for the battery. So it is what it is. You got a little bit less space. Being a Rubicon, this does have the Alpine system. I don't even think that was an option. It just comes factory, so that's nice. Not much else has changed. You still got your storage back here. This is actually what they give you for the charger from the factory. So it does come with a cool little travel bag. I think what I'm going to end up doing is actually buying an additional 110-volt charger that I can keep in here just in case I'm traveling, I'm out, and that way I can just keep my my other Jeep charger plugged in and not have to worry about transferring it in and out of the vehicle. So that's something to think about. If you got the money and you want to buy a level 2 charger, that would really be ideal, but they're about $600. Maybe some are a little bit cheaper, but if you want the 32 amp version so you can charge this thing as fast as possible, you're going to want to spend $500-600. So, which is kind of questionable whether the return on investment makes sense. It doesn't make sense for me, but maybe it does for you. Coming over to this side, we've got a locking gas cap. There's a button inside to open this up. Different from my Sport, which they don't even put a cap on. And now we've got this cover. This is all metal, so this is actually really nice. It's got a nice powder coat finish. You pop this off here. It's just some rubber, and then that's where your charger connects to. Very simple. You plug it in, a couple lights light up. It's pretty cool. So So let's go ahead and jump right into what you're really waiting for, which is to get a look at the interior and the driving experience. All right, so hopping inside of our Jeep 4xe. This stuff's all pretty much the same, except you do have a button here which is new. This is the regen button. So this is for the regenerative braking, and once you hit this, it actually starts to brake the engine and make you kind of slow down. It's kind of like a manual, having a manual. If you've ever driven a manual transmission, and you say you kind of hold it, or in first or second as you come to a stop, and the engine revs down, that's what it's doing to help charge the battery a little bit faster. So this is always in an off position. You have to turn it on if you want it every time. I tried driving around with it the other day on. It gets kind of annoying, honestly. So yeah, if you're trying to recover, definitely turn that on. Otherwise, you can just leave it off. Not much changed here from a regular Rubicon, other than that button. It's pretty much all the same. Here we go with the gauges. So this is the weirdest part. Turn it on. We're starting the car. You expect to hear the engine cranking noise, and there's not one, right? Because basically every time this thing starts, it's always starting in electric mode. So it's pretty cool. So I mean, literally, if I put it in drive right now, we would just start to take off. Now there are three main drive modes. Hybrid is the kind of the standard mode. This is going to be where it's going to use the electric motor at first, but then it'll switch right into the gas, and it basically does a combination in and out. If you command full throttle or 3/4 throttle, it is going to bring the engine in. So this is going to give you the highest performance. Then you've got the electric mode. This is going to be your pure electric, where the gas engine will stay off unless you command full throttle. So if you do try to floor it, you will get the engine initiated. Otherwise, it's just going to be pure electric. So if you're trying to commute and not use any gas, this would be what you want. Then there's e-save. So basically this mode will not use the electric motor. So this will help you to, let's say you're driving somewhere and maybe you want to save your battery till the end. You would use e-save, and it would just use the gas engine and then switch out. So pretty simple. If you have an electric mode and you're driving, once you get to your limit, your 21 to 25 miles, it will just automatically switch back to hybrid mode by itself. It'll give you a little display on the dash that the battery is not charged. So again, looking at this display, we've got 63% left on our battery. So it looks like there's estimating about 15 miles of range, and we've got about 246 miles of just pure gas. Now granted, I've got 128 miles. When this got delivered to me 3 days ago, it had a full tank of gas, and you can see we've pretty much got a full tank of gas. So we're basically every day so far, using very little gas. We also don't commute that far. It's just a few miles to get the kids to school, to get to the gym, to get to some of the stores close to us. So today we had a full charge on this thing this morning, and so we're actually going to try to completely deplete this and find out how far we've gone, and to get an idea of what the range is with our 35s. Speaking of charging time, with the level 1 charger that's provided for us the last few days, it's been telling us it takes about 15 hours or so to completely charge this thing. If you had a level 2 charger with a 220 or 240 volt, it would only be 2 hours. So a substantial difference with time. But like I said, it's just an investment in cost, right? It's about $600, and that's just for the charger. If you don't have 220 in your garage or wherever, you'd have to add that cost as well. The other main thing is, kind of pisses me off, honestly, because you already have lights out there. When you plug in the connector, there's a blinking light telling you it's charging. It stops blinking. It stays green when it's charged. So you can kind of see everything here. But then they also decided to put lights here, I guess for easy visibility. If you just kind of looked out your garage door, you could see what's going on. But the problem is, this was my sweet sunglass holder spot. And now, it's not so great. So, I don't know. Not a fan of that. I mean, couldn't you guys have just stuck that shit up there or something? I mean, that would have been better, but whatever. We also have the 8.4-inch screen. My Sport had the smaller 7-inch one, so this is kind of cool. Otherwise, not much difference. I mean, I guess the other thing to point out, right, is you've got this kind of cool power meter, right? So, 100% power. Then you've got it. This is the charging side on the regenerative braking. So as you're braking really hard, you can do some brake tests and see how far you can get this thing to go down. So it's kind of cool. It's pretty neat. Otherwise, that's most of it. So I think now we should just go for a drive. All right, so we are just cruising down the road. We're going about, 45 or so. and we're in the EV mode right now, so there's just the electric motor. Surprisingly, it does have plenty of power. I was a little bit worried, like, man, this is 90 or 100 horsepower to propel a 5,000 pound vehicle, but it seems to have no issue. It's all that electric torque, has no problem. So it almost just feels kind of like my old V6 Sport, cruising around. Like, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Once you get to maybe 3/4 throttle, you definitely do start to feel the lack of power. But again, if you go to full throttle, the gas engine will kick in, and then boom, you've got 375 ponies, 470 pound-feet of torque pushing you back in the seat. And it does get moving. I would say 40 to 60 on this thing is pretty awesome. It's definitely kind of cool. So yeah, otherwise it's very weird, just kind of cruising. It's just so quiet, especially on our Sport. I actually had the Flowmaster muffler delete, so we actually had an exhaust system on it. Now to be in this thing and it's just so quiet. I don't know if you guys can hear that, if it's picking it up, but you can hear actually just the hum of the electric motor. It's pretty cool. So starting this thing up again, I just wanted to kind of take you guys and just put it in drive reverse just to kind of hear what it's like. Let me turn off the HVAC. So you hear there's some kind of noise. It almost sounds like a fan coming from the back. I'm not sure if this is the FCA kind of pedestrian safety noise that we had heard about. Basically, they're trying to have some noise emitted from outside the vehicle, so kids, people walking can hear you coming. But I mean, we're moving and it's just silent. You just hear this kind of a whisper fan noise. And you hear a little bit of a whine. But it's so cool. It's just quiet. And, it doesn't feel any different. Just feels like a normal car. It's pretty cool. I just put the windows down so maybe we can hear a little bit more. It's mad at me, my seatbelt's off, but we're just cruising around the yard. And I think now, since my battery's dead, we've got the engine tugging us along here. But if we stop, engine shuts off. And if we just give it a little gas, we're just still cruising with just the battery, just the electric motor. Put it back in park, shut it off. It's pretty cool. So as far as charging goes, here's the charger that Jeep gives you. So it's just a regular 110 volt. You can just plug it into any outlet just like you normally would. Here's the charging cord. And you just pop this open, take off the rubber cap, pop the trigger, in she goes, and then you'll start to get a light. And it'll start blinking here, telling us that it is charging. Once it's fully charged, it'll, I think, turn green. So yeah, basically, for us, the Jeep doesn't really stay in the garage. So every time we come home, I just pull it up here and, in between errands and picking up the kids up from school, we just got it charging. So works out pretty well. Now again, if you can afford or you want to buy the level 2 charger, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because you could use your, say, 20-mile range in the morning, come home, charge it for even an hour, you get half your range back, 2 hours are fully charged, and then you could be able to drive it again in the evening and get another 20 miles. So it does make a lot of sense. Like I said, it's just expensive, but otherwise we'll see how this goes, and who knows, maybe in a few months I might change my mind. But for now, I think I'm just going to buy one more of the 110 volt ones just so I can keep it in the Jeep at all times. That way, if I'm ever staying the night somewhere, if I'm at a family member's house, friend's house, we can charge while we're there. So with our Jeep, the MSRP on it was a little bit over $57,000. The only things we didn't get was the steel bumper group, just because I think it was like a $1,700 option. I just figured if I get a different bumper, I'll go aftermarket. They're actually a little bit cheaper, a little bit cooler. I didn't get the front camera. And then there was something else we didn't get. Advanced safety group. So I did really want to try the advanced safety group this time. We did get the level 1 safety with the blind spot monitoring, which I had on the last Jeep, which I love, which you should all have it. It's amazing. You can turn on your blinker, and if you don't hear a beep, you can basically just get over. It's awesome. But the advanced safety group gave you the adaptive cruise control, which I was excited to try. But again, I think that was like another $2,000, $2,500. So we decided not to do it. I figure, you know what, in 3 years when we get the next Jeep, that'll probably be a standard equipment item, or it'll be a lot cheaper. So we'll try it then. No big deal. As far as payments go, so we are leasing our Jeep. My dad actually works for FCA, so we get employee pricing. So we usually get super awesome deals. And this one, especially with the $7,500 tax rebate, it ended up being no different. So all we had to put down was, I think, $1,100, and then it was 35 more payments of $419 a month. So pretty sweet deal for an almost $60,000 vehicle. Our last Jeep, which was a Sport S with an MSRP, I think, of $43,000, that one we only put down maybe $600, and then it was 35 more payments of like $351 per month. So basically for an extra $70 a month, we're getting a Jeep that's almost about, well, a little bit less than 20,000, 17,000 or so dollars more, and just a lot more equipment, a lot more cool. So I think it's a worthwhile trade. Now, if you think about it over 3 years, you are talking about an extra $2,500, which is kind of a lot of money, but you only live once. You know, we've only had this thing for 72 hours, but I can already tell you we love this thing. It's awesome. So I'm very excited. I'm really hoping to get a few more chances to find out what the range is. So today was kind of the first day where we tested it, and we got that, you know, a little over 20 miles. So we'll do a few more tests and see. My wife also mentioned that she did have the regen on, the max regen on this whole time today, I guess. So not sure how much that affects it. We'll have to try another one, maybe without the max regen on, and see if, you know, could that be the difference of 18, 19 miles versus 20? I don't know, but we'll have to try. So anyway, it's been, like I said, 72 hours. Maybe I'll try to get you guys one more video in about a week, maybe a 1 week update, and see if anything's changed. But so far, we're loving it. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Take care.